You know what this is? Easy, right? It's a plastic bottle. Okay, now, stay with me here. What is it now? Now, it's marine debris. Same with this. Now it's a wrench, and now it's marine debris. If you work in the oil and gas industry, you've probably heard a lot about marine debris. As an industry, we're working really hard to keep our stuff out of the water, and that's what this video is all about. But that doesn't mean that the marine debris problem has been solved. Au contraire. We still contribute to the problem unintentionally. In fact, 5-gallon buckets are among the most commonly accidentally lost oil and gas industry items that become marine debris, along with life vests, some kind of plastic sheeting, scaffold boards, hand tools, and as you might have guessed it, hard hats. I hate to admit it, but I think I'm probably the clumsiest person I know, because I seem to find it really easy to lose my hard hat. See what I mean? I'm thinking about inventing some sort of Velcro ski mask-like thing that keeps my hard hat from going anywhere near the water. Man, I wish I'd been the one to invent Velcro. Sorry, I digress. Now, is it really a big deal that this stuff is going into the oceans, the gulfs, and the bays? After all, there's so much water, and this is comparatively small stuff. Well, it is a big deal, because this stuff gets combined with a lot of other stuff. Now, just think about it. Recreational boaters and cruise ship passengers, and even people enjoying a day on the beach, could contribute things like bottles and cans and cigarette butts and sunglasses. Commercial fishing boats and shrimp boats add nets and fishing line. Cargo shipping lines, too, can accidentally lose things overboard. When you combine all of this stuff, it builds up and causes more damage than you might think. First and foremost, marine debris is a serious threat to fish, marine mammals, sea turtles, seabirds, and other marine life. Some get entangled in strapping bands, discarded ropes, and plastic six-pack rings. When they can't get free, they can't feed, and they starve or drown. Some eat the debris, thinking that it's food. But because the debris can't be digested, it blocks their intestines and guts. After suffering major internal damage, they starve to death. You'd think, for example, that cigarette butts would decompose in the water, but they don't. Most contain some form of plastic, so if they do decompose, it will take many years. And you know, as we go out into deeper waters, we expose even more marine animals to our operations. Threatened and endangered species, like the sperm whale, for example, and some species of sea turtles, can all suffer because something unintentionally became marine debris. Some of this stuff sinks to the sea floor where it can sit for an incredibly long time. An aluminum can, for example, will take nearly 100 years to decompose. A glass bottle? 1,000,000 years. That's right. I said 1,000,000. Now, some of this stuff doesn't sink, but floats on the surface or drifts in the water column. And that's when it becomes dangerous to not only fish, marine mammals, sea turtles, seabirds, and other wildlife, but also to people. This stuff can seriously hurt both commercial and recreational boaters should they run across it. It can damage boat hulls, obviously, but it can also foul propellers and clog the water intake ports on engines, causing boat owners to incur heavy losses of both time and money. Have you ever seen an angry boat owner? Ooh, I sure have, and Mom was pretty mad, let me tell you. What doesn't sink is going to drift and may end up on somebody's beach or shore. Every year, for example, volunteers like these in Corpus Christi, Texas, have to do major beach cleanups from South Padre Island, Texas, to Fort Myers, Florida. Volunteers from communities that share the Gulf of Mexico have to go out and clean up trash. Cans, bottles, even people's butts. And when there aren't enough volunteers, our taxpayer dollars have to be spent so that our beaches and parks aren't trashed. And like that bottle trying to decompose, it can take millions.
So, what does all this have to do with you? Well, before you work on a marine facility, you need to understand that you must do everything you can to keep debris and trash from going into the water. Here's why. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but also because the United States Coast Guard, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Department of Interior's Minerals Management Service have put into place strict laws and regulations regarding marine debris and trash. Not only is it illegal to deliberately put trash and debris into the water, but it's also illegal to accidentally let trash and debris go into the water and then make no attempt to retrieve it, if it's safe to do so. Think you won't get caught? Think again. The rules and regulations also specify that all equipment, tools, and containers must include durable identification markings so that it can be traced back to the facility from which it was lost. As the world's clumsiest guy, I can tell you from experience, lots of experience, that it's much easier to prevent losing things than it is to retrieve them. That's why I use a tethered chin strap on my hard hat until I can get my new invention patented, and always check to see that buckets are secured. Other things I do that you should do too. I use cigarette butt containers. I tie things down, secure them, and stow them. I store loose items in baskets or lockers. And I always make sure that when I throw something away, the lid on the trash bin is in place and fits tightly. Look, I don't want somebody driving down my street throwing trash onto my lawn, which I could eat and choke on. I mean, my dog could eat and choke on. I don't want to be responsible for doing that to a sea turtle or a dolphin, and I know you don't want to either. So be careful with your stuff. Remember to clear your gear, and be aware of where you put things and how you dispose of them. And let the placards posted around the facility remind you to do the right thing. Trust me, it's a whole lot easier to prevent things from going into the water than it is to go and get them. So put on your thinking cap, under your hard hat, of course, and come up with other ways to keep debris out of the water. Who knows? Your next creative idea for keeping something from becoming marine debris might be the next big thing. Like Velcro. Think about it.